Hello, it's Alex here from Typewriters. I'm making a short video to display how to use a cellular read typewriter. So I have the original case with the typewriter here, and to open the case there's going to be two buttons at the front, and to unlock the top case we just need to push them in at the same time and lift it up, just like this. So the model I have here is a cellular read cellular write 2. But these instructions that I will be giving you can apply to other models as well of the cellular read brand. So I'm going to demonstrate how to put in the paper. So there's going to be this cylinder here, and it's called the platen. To input the paper, we have to put the paper behind the cylinder and feed it through. We can use one of these knobs on the side to feed the paper through. Once the paper gets to this position, we need to lift up this plank called the paper bale, and once we feed it through more, then we can press down the paper with the paper bale. So it's important that the paper is pressed down, otherwise it's going to impact how the letters are typed on the page. So I'm going to go over the keyboard first. In this case, we have a standard QWERTY layout keyboard. And you might notice that there is no number 1 on the keyboard, and that's because we used lowercase l for that. So for example, if I wanted to type 1990, then I would type L 90 90. So we have the spacebar, and we also have the shift keys. So they're mirrored on both sides, and we have the shift lock. So if we wanted to type my name, Alex, then we can engage the shift key, and then we can press Alex. And if we want to type all caps, then we would press this arrow key. And then all of the letters will be in caps. To unlock the shift lock, we just press on the shift key to unlock it. So you'll notice that there is also another arrow key here, and it's for the backspace. So it goes back one space, but it doesn't actually erase the letter. So for example, let's say I typed a letter O, and I wanted to go back and type over with another letter. So I can press the backspace and type X, for example. Alternatively, if I typed a letter quite faintly, so let's say I typed a J, just barely, then what I can do is I can go back and retype over the same letter with the same letter. So now I can type J again, and it will have a much better impression on the page. Now, some cellular read typewriters have a color of the ribbon switch here. Now, some typewriters don't, but this model does. So this allows us to change the color of the ribbon. In this case, we have a black ribbon here. So even if we do change it to red, it won't actually type red. But if this ribbon was a black-red ribbon, then we can switch to the red arrow, and then it will type in red. So for example, once it's in red and I type a letter, as you can see, the ribbon carrier will lift up, and then you'll be typing on the bottom half of the ribbon. If I switch it to black, then it will type on the top half of the ribbon. So as you can see, the ribbon carrier doesn't go all the way up. Now, if I switch to the middle, then it will be in stencils. Now, stencils, what it means is that it doesn't actually type on the page. So as you can see, I'm typing, but there is no impression left on the page. So we want to make sure that if we're typing, then it's always on the red or black arrow. There's also another arrow key here. This is called the margin release, but I'll get to the margins in a little bit. So let's look at the ribbon. So I'm going to lift up this ribbon cover. So what you'll see is that there's going to be two spools, and these spools hold the actual ink ribbon. So every time we press a key, these spools rotate so that you're typing a new piece of ribbon with each strike. So what you'll notice is that the ribbon is going from this direction to this direction, so it's going clockwise. Now, the typewriter does have an automatic ribbon reverse mechanism. What it means is that once the ribbon will be moved from this side to this side, the typewriter should automatically reverse direction. So, but we can also do it manually. To do it manually, we just need to press on one of these arms, and then we'll reverse the direction of the ribbon. So as you can see, these spools are going clockwise, right? But if I switch the direction, then they'll be going anti-clockwise. So what's happening is that it's being moved from this spool to this spool, and to reverse again, we just need to switch it. But usually most typewriters have this automatic reverse mechanism, so you don't need to worry about the ribbon direction. So let's talk about this part here. This is called the carriage. So the carriage has quite a few important mechanisms. So we mentioned these knobs here, and this is for the paper feeding, right? So if you want to feed the paper up or down. To release the paper from the platen, we have this lever here. And to release the paper, we need to press on this lever. So I have released the paper, and now I can easily pull it out. To feed it through, I need to engage it again. And I will intentionally load the paper at an angle. So as you can see, it has come out a bit wonky. So I can actually adjust this paper by pressing this lever again, and I can push it into the right position that I want. And once I'm satisfied with the alignment, then I can press this lever again, and the paper will be locked in place. As you can see, I'm trying to pull on it, and it's staying in place. We also have this lever here called the carriage release. So this part here is the carriage. And if we want to go anywhere on the line, on the paper, we can press on this lever here, and the carriage will allow us to move freely anywhere on the line, right? So for example, let's say we are here, we're typing here, and for some reason, we want to move all the way here, for whatever reason, then we can just release the carriage, move it here. Now, once we're done typing on this line, we need to engage the carriage return lever, which is this lever here. So this lever has two main functions. So what it does, it pushes the paper up by X amount of lines, and then it also starts from the beginning of the line. So if you watch closely, so now we'll be typing on a new line. And let's say if I want to go to another line, so as you'll see, I'm starting from the same position on the new line. So whenever you use the carriage return lever, you always want to make sure that you're pushing it all the way through, just like this. Now we can actually adjust the amount of lines we can skip with this lever here. So you might, I'm not sure if the camera will show, but there's going to be all numbers. So 1, 2, and 0. So if we want to skip, let's say 2 lines, then we can press on this lever. And now the amount of space we'll have between each line will be greater, so 2 lines. So let's say we have a line here. Now we have another line here. And another line here. So as you can see, this is what we had when we had on 1, so 1 line. And here we have 2 lines, so there's much greater space. So to adjust it again to 1 line, we can just push it back to 1. Now at the back, you'll see margins. So let me just take out the paper. So this is your beginning, and this is your ending margin. We can adjust the margins by pressing on these little tabs and sliding them to the side. So the margins just indicate where you begin and where you end on the page, right? So you'll see there's number 20 and 80. So this means that now the typewriter will let me type only in this space. So if I put the paper back in, so now I will always begin at 20. So previously we used to type here, but now that we adjusted the margin, we can actually only type here. And equally, the ending margin has also been adjusted. Once you approach the end of the right margin, there's going to be a bell, and the bell indicates you're approaching the end. So after the bell, there's going to be about 5 spaces, give or take, and this is just a warning telling you, hey, you're approaching the end of the line, and you need to either carry over the word to the next line, or you can continue typing. So once it reaches the actual end, it will actually lock in place, so it won't let you type anymore. And this is where this key comes in, this double arrow one. So if you want to continue typing to finish the word, for example, then we can press on this key and we can continue typing. So this releases the margin and allows you to type further. So just to demonstrate again, we're approaching the end of the margin, the bell, and then there's going to be a few spaces left. Then it's locked in place. And if you want to continue typing, we press on this key, and then we can carry on. So that's about it for the main functions of the typewriter. Let me just demonstrate how to put it back into the original case. So I'm going to take out the paper. We want to make sure that the carriage, which is this part here, is right in the middle. So I think this looks about right. I'll put on the ribbon cover here as well. Now, the case, we want to put the bottom of the typewriter into this slot here. So the bottom goes in first, and then we'll slide the top back on. So bottom first, and I will click into place. So now it's all locked in place. As you can see, it's not going anywhere. So that's about it. If you have any questions, please let me know.